Today we're going to talk about getting to the top 1% of wrestling, and this applies to pretty much anything in life, so apply it as you will. The one thing that I find a common factor in the people that I know that got to the top of the sport, and then, even though I didn't achieve what I wanted to in the sport, how I got to the top 1%, because essentially, I've started at a Division I college, that puts you in probably the top 1%, if not even a smaller category of wrestling. And it's obsession. As crappy as that might sound, I don't think it sounds crappy. I think it sounds freaking awesome, because it's like being obsessed about wrestling is, what sounds fun to me. So, but just being obsessed with what you want to get really, really good at, whether that's, a job or wrestling or football, or I feel like the top guys are just obsessed with it. Every single day they seek to get better, and they seek to improve from yesterday, and they thirst for knowledge. And so you're like, okay, Weston, what is it? What does that obsession, right? The obsession look like? Got a little different filming environment today because my kid's out in the living room screaming in a good way. He's like screaming, playing, blah, blah, blah. But what does that obsession look like, right? And that just looks like showing up to practice every single day, focused. Focused on what? Focused on learning, focused on getting better, focused on why things aren't working, why things are working. Why is coach showing this? Why is coach showing that? Why are we doing this? Why are we only doing this much live? Why are we doing so much live? Why are we going for a run this practice? Why do we eat these things on our diet? Why does this person do this, right? And so it's like having a beginner mindset. That's a big part of it, is just always learning, improving, never being content with how good you are, which is a hard place, because it's like obviously we can go too far with that, and then it's like, oh, I suck, and you think you suck all the time, and you're never content with who you are and stuff like that. So it's like finding a happy medium of enjoying the process of getting better, but also not being content with the results that you're getting currently, and being obsessive over that, right? The other thing that I would say that goes into that is just like, this is what you're doing, and you put all your eggs in that basket. Right, and that's the whole like spread your eggs out in multiple baskets, I think is a lot of bull crap a lot of times. I think it's the safe way to play life, and the safe way to play sports. Oh, well, I'm gonna play football, basketball, baseball because I enjoy it, and I'm gonna wrestle too, and I'm pretty good at all of them. But it's like, okay, are we trying to be pretty good, or are we trying to be the best? And if you're trying to be the best, probably you're not gonna be able to play them all. I'm sure there's some few exceptions that, every single time I post a video like this, I get these people in my comments being like, oh, well, this helps with this, or, look at this person, they did it. And it's like, okay, you got one person that is the exception that can do these multiple things and reach the top of their sport. And then on top of that, it's like, okay, did they even reach the top of their sport too? And so it's like, just really locking in on what you want and building from there is probably the biggest factor on achieving your goals of being, the peak of your sport or whatever you want to do for, this channel. It's going to be wrestling, right? So I thought I'd just share some things that, I did when I kind of became obsessed with wrestling. And it was every single day I would watch college or world level athletes, and I would watch their matches. I would try to pick up things that they were doing, and then I think subconsciously too, I picked up things they were doing because I would find myself doing these things in practice, and I didn't really never was taught it or anything like that. It would just like, I'd picked it up and then I would try it in practice, or I'd get to that position and my body would just go there, and I'd be like, oh yeah, I watched this match and that person did it. And I didn't even have to think about it, right? Obviously that takes practice. It's like, watching a lot of matches to do that and having to see it over and over and over. The other thing is showing up to practice with a focused plan every single day. So obviously I don't control what is going to happen at practice, but I also can control what happens after practice, what happens before practice, what I work on during practice, maybe off of something that the coach is showing. So if the coach says practice your takedowns and I have something to work on my feet, I'm going to work that thing. I'm not just going to, shoot high C's just because coach said practices takedowns and I'm checked out for that portion of the practice, right? And so it's like coming to practice with goals and a focus to get better, and then asking questions. Man, when I wanted to start getting good at wrestling, I was nonstop asking questions. A great example of this, if you go to Asking Wrestling Academy, well, I guess you're not anymore, but the last couple of years, Aiden Sinclair, dude would not shut up about wrestling, and it was great. I remember I practiced with him one time, This was in the Madison location with Pat Spray coaching. And we were working this something, and I had just gotten home from college, or maybe it was a trip home, or I forget if I was in college or just got done. But I practiced with them, and I was just kind of getting in there. I was just going to flow and do whatever. And the dude would not stop asking me questions. And I'm happy he did and stuff. And we talked a lot of wrestling, and we both got better at that practice, which is awesome. But at the time I was like, oh my gosh, I just kind of want to get in here and roll around a little bit. But no, it was awesome. Not complaining about it at all, but that's how you get better, right? You just ask questions over and over and over and over and over, and keep finding new answers, and keep learning, and then implementing, and then learning, and then implementing, and then learning, and just being obsessed over it. It's different for everybody, right? For me, one of my big obsessions for myself was not missing practice. I never ever wanted to miss practice. There was plenty of times where I had a plenty good excuse to miss, and I just refused to miss. I would make it no matter what. And even when I had a lot of injuries, I'd be injured for I just had surgery, it's 6-month recovery. I would still make every practice. I'd just sit there and watch, or help coach, help someone with technique, help little kids, help high schoolers. Even when I was in high school, and I would watch. I would still ask questions from the side. I just wanted everything, all the knowledge I could get. I wanted it. And so I think that's the biggest factor, is just become obsessed, put all your eggs in that basket, bet on yourself, and get after it.